Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 13th and as well as 14th April 2025. So let's get started with our discussion, guys. And before getting started, I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science Academy, this prelims cum mains batch, foundation batch of 2026 already had been started and admissions are going on. So if you want to take admission, so please try to contact us on this number 8074765513, and we are providing both on online and offline. Okay, so if you want to visit academy and if you want to talk to me directly, you can visit our academy which is in Ashok Nagar, Hyderabad. Okay, so now let us see the first article, guys. So if you see the title of this first article, the title says Iran, US to have more negotiations after first round of nuclear talks is positive. So this article is very, very important from your international relations point of view. So this article is talking about Iran-US relations. Especially this article is talking about Iran's nuclear deal of 2015, and there is also other name for this Iran's nuclear deal, that is joint JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Okay, JCPOA or Iran's nuclear deal. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. And from this area you can expect both prelims and also mains based question, guys, and you have to be very much careful about it. So what you have to see? You have to see about what is this Iran's nuclear deal of 2015, and you have to see about what are the features of this Iran's nuclear deal, and next you have to see about US actually came out of this deal. So why US came out of this deal? You have to see that. Why US came out of this deal. And next you have to see what is the present context. Why Iran is again engaging in this nuclear deal. You have to see that. And next one is what is the significance of this move of US. So all these things are very, very important, guys. And you have to know each and every point regarding this. And now let us see this article clearly. So if you see context, it is saying that Iran and the US will hold more negotiations next week over Tehran, that is Iran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. So actually what is happening here is Iran is enriching uranium for making of nuclear weapons. Okay, so because of this now US intervened regarding this advancement of Iran's regarding its nuclear enrichment program. So if you see some important facts here, actually US President Donald Trump, he proposed that we are going for renegotiating this Iran's nuclear deal. So actually if you see history, so whenever this Trump 1.0, Trump first time era had been started, so Trump came out, that is nothing but US came out of this Iran's nuclear deal in year 2018. And now again it wants to renegotiate with this because Iran is going for more and more enrichment of uranium. So if you see some facts regarding this JCPOA, that is nothing but Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. So when it came into existence in year 2015, and which countries they are involved in this Iran's nuclear deal is, it is between Iran and world powers. So which are those world powers? We have P5+1, that is US, UK, France, Russia, China, Germany and European Union. So these are the countries which are the part of this Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action members. And actually under this Iran, which mainly agreed to curb its nuclear program, and also it led to allowing of international inspection. So even it allowed that IAEA, that will be one important organization that will be going and conducting research and that will be going and conducting inspections in this Iran. And what are the purposes and what are the goals of this JCPOA? First one is they want to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons and to reduce the risk of regional conflict with rivals like Israel and Saudi Arabia. They want to maintain peace in this West Asia. And this one is if Iran pursued a nuclear weapon, then it would take at least 1 year, allowing the world powers to intervene. So because of this, to address these concerns of this Iran's arms race, so they came up with this Iran's nuclear deal of 2015. And what are the key provisions? It is very important, guys. You have to make a note. First one is there is limit on uranium enrichment. So under this JCPOA, that is Iran's nuclear deal, so Iran agreed to cap its uranium enrichment at 3.67% of purity, which is far below of 90%, which is helpful for making of nuclear weapons. That means whenever we are going for less enrichment, then we can use that thing for civil, that is for generation of electricity, not for production of nuclear weapons. Next one here is, there is also like centrifuge restrictions. Iran agreed to operate only 5,060 first generation centrifuges. And this one here is heavy water nuclear reactor redesign. So Iran had also redesigned its Arak heavy water reactor so that they are going to prevent the production of weapons grade plutonium. And even it agreed IAEA to conduct inspections in Iran also. So it is also an important thing. And this one is in exchange what this Iran is going to get. Iran is going to get sanctions relief from US. So these are some important provisions of this JCPOA Act. Okay. So now let us see the next article, guys. Title says ISRO to mark golden jubilee of the launch of Aryabhatta. So here golden jubilee is nothing but 50 years of celebrations, right? So if there is 25 years or 50 years or 75 years or 100 or 125 or like 150 like that, you will be getting question regarding that for sure in your examination. And this year you can expect a question regarding Aryabhatta, guys. Okay. So here the keyword is Aryabhatta. So this article is important from which subject, guys? From GS paper 3 under Science and Technology. So just see about some basic features of this Aryabhatta, that's it. So from these features, you can expect a prelims based question. You can't expect any mains based question here, but you can expect a prelims based question. We have to see that. So if you see some important basic facts regarding this Aryabhatta, so now ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, is set to celebrate golden jubilee of launch of India's first satellite. It is very, very important. India's first satellite is Aryabhatta. So when it was on board, so it was took off on board USSR rocket, that is Cosmos 3M, on April 19th, 1975. So on this day, we are going to celebrate this golden jubilee. So if you see some facts regarding this Aryabhatta, it was like the first satellite, and it was named after renowned Indian astronomer Aryabhatta from 5th century. And this satellite was constructed by whom? ISRO itself. And Aryabhatta was launched by using Russia's rocket, that is Soviet Cosmos. You have to remember that. And what is the important objective of this Aryabhatta? Why it was launched? Especially for experiments in X-ray astronomy and even aeronautics and solar physics. So these are the 3 important areas where we want to study by this Aryabhatta. Okay, clear? And now let us see next article. So title says India-US Tri-Service HADR exercise, that is Tiger Triumph ends. So already we know that from last 5 days, I think so, we discussed about this topic, that yes, we are having this 4th edition of India-US Tri-Surface HADR, that is nothing but Humanitarian Assistance and Disaster Relief Exercise. And the name of this is Tiger Triumph, and finally it had been concluded on Friday. So because of this, it is in news. So just you have to make a notes about this Tiger Triumph in your disaster management work. And if you are writing about the cooperation between the different countries regarding disaster relief, then you can quote this example like Tiger Triumph. It is India's and US tri-service HDR exercise. Okay, clear? And now let us see the next article, guys. Yes, say this title. 8 killed in blast at firecracker unit in AP. Naidu orders inquiry. So this article is talking about accident at where? Accident at firecracker industry. Okay, so it is a very, very common type of articles that you will be seeing in the newspaper, guys. So actually here what you have to see is, so this article is talking about firecracker industry accident, right? So because of this, yes, there is a loss of life, loss of property, yes. So from which subject we can say this? From GS paper 3 under disaster management. And even you can say this topic from GS paper 2 under governance, because it is an example of governance failure. Yes. So here what are the things that you have to see? What are the dimensions? You have to see about firecracker industries in India. So you have to collect data of firecracker industries in India. And you have to draw a map and you have to see in which states we have this firecracker large scale production. Okay. And you have to see what are the reasons of accidents in this firecracker industries. And next you have to see about what are the measures already taken by the government. And next you have to see what is the way forward. And even you can also get a case study in your ethics GS paper 4 also regarding this firecracker industry. You are the district magistrate or you are the inspector, like that. So what are the steps that you will be taking, like that. So you will be getting some ethical dilemma related case study also. You have to be well prepared for that, guys. And from governance point of view, you have to see what is this PESO. So PESO is an organization which is responsible for inspections and as well as monitoring of this firecracker industries. That means because of this failure of this PESO, can we say that this accident happened? Yes. So here you have to see what are the administrative measures can be taken to control these firecracker accidents in India. Because frequently this kind of incidents are happening not only in AP, but even recently we discussed in Bihar and as well as even in Tamil Nadu, very, very famous incidents which will be happens regarding this firecracker industry in this area called as Sivakasi. So you have to know about this detailedly. So focus on these areas, guys. Already we discussed this topic number of times. And now let us see the next article. Very, very important if you are from Kerala. So see the title. Dharmadham is Kerala's first poverty-free constituency. And for GS on offline students and online students, I gave work regarding collecting of data of poverty, right? So in that poverty data, so at this point, that is Dharmadham is Kerala's first poverty-free constituency. So actually what is this talking about? So actually Kerala Chief Minister declared this Dharmadham in Kerala. It is one of the first extreme poverty-free constituency. And finally they said that they eradicated poverty in this region by November 1st. Okay, they are going to achieve the status of full eradication of extreme poverty by November 1st, 2025. So actually CM of Kerala announced this in an event. Okay, and he said that it is like a milestone marks for the significant step to eliminate poverty in this region. Okay, so here whenever you are getting this kind of articles, what you have to do is you have to Google about what are the steps taken. Yes, finally Chief Minister announced that yes, this is going to be the poverty-free constituency in Kerala, right? So here you have to make a note of what are the steps taken by the government in this Dharmadham. That led to getting of the status called as poverty-free constituency. So you have to write at least 5 to 6 steps they are taken here. And whenever you are writing any answer regarding poverty, in that answer, if you are writing about way forward, so you can write the steps taken in this Dharmadham and you can quote an example of Dharmadham so that the value addition part can be done. Okay, so in this way you have to improve your value addition of your mains answers, guys. So try to focus on this area and try to work on it, because already I gave the work regarding poverty, guys. Okay, now let us see the next article. Yes, here you can see one very important and great image. So what is this image is about? So here, what can you see? Policemen, right? So police personnel, they are paying tribute to martyrs at Jallianwala Bagh Memorial. So this image that you can see is Jallianwala Bagh Memorial, where it is located in Amritsar. Okay. So even our President Draupadi Murmu and as well as Prime Minister, they said that nation would forever remember the victims of this 1919 massacre. So whenever you are getting this historical events in the newspaper, obviously you have to revise that, guys. So you can get a question. And this topic is important from your GS paper 1 under history. That too in your modern history, you will be studying about this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. It is very important. And many a times, even in UPSC prelims also the question appeared regarding this. So now let us see this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So actually this Jallianwala Bagh massacre or Amritsar massacre, so which was happened in 1919. The date here is 13th April. On 13th April 1919, it accounts for the gruesome execution of hundreds of innocent people by the Gurkha British Indian Army. Okay, based on the orders of whom? General Dyer. Based on the Anglo-Indian Brigadier R.E.H. Dyer's order, so British Army, they went for the mass shootings in this region and hundreds of innocent Indians, they had died in this thing. And the people were protesting very much peacefully against Rowlatt Act of 1919. But what is this Rowlatt Act? So during World War I, that was happened between year 1914 to 1918, the British government of India enacted series of repressive emergency powers, okay, to combat subversive activities. So in this context, this act was passed on the recommendations of very important, that is Sedition Committee. So this Sedition Committee was headed by Sir Sidney Rowlatt. So because of this, the act name here is Rowlatt Act. And what this act is about, it gave the government enormous powers to repress political activities, and even they allowed for detention of political prisoners without any trial for 2 years. So on this act, the people are doing protest peacefully on this Kal Baisakhi Day, but General Dyer, on his orders, this British army, they went for mass shootings and mass killings, and this event was called as Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So what is the significance of this event? It is very important from your minds. So this Jallianwala Bagh became a key point in the history of India's struggle for independence. And we also came up with the building of a monument in this area. And actually this Jallianwala Bagh tragedy was one of the causes that led Mahatma Gandhi to begin the first large-scale and sustained non-violent protest. That is called as non-cooperation movement in year 1920 to 1922. And actually the Bengal poet and Nobel laureate, that is Rabindranath Tagore, so he renounced his knighthood that he had received in 1915. He renounced that. And next one here is the then government of India ordered the investigation of this incident by one commission. That name of that commission is Hunter Commission in year 1920. Okay, and this commission which censored Dyer for his actions, and he also ordered to resign him. Okay, so these are some things that you have to remember regarding this Jallianwala Bagh massacre. And now let us see the next article. Title says India-Africa Maritime Engagement Exercise begins off Tanzania coast. So this article is talking about maritime exercise between two countries. Which are they? So India, next one is Africa. Okay, so from which subject it is important? From GS paper 3 under defense, and as well as from GS paper 2 under international relations, right? And from this exercise, when you are seeing the exercises which are there in news, you may get prelims based question, guys, for sure. So at least one question here UPS 2025 will be based on the exercises which are present in that year's news, and you have to be very much careful with these exercises. So one area where you can use these exercises in your prelims, and next one is whenever you are writing your mains answers or in your essays, you can add these exercises to improve the value addition for your answers. So from that point of view, for example, if you are writing any answer regarding India-Africa relations, can you add 1 point in areas of cooperation regarding these exercises? Yes or no? India-Africa key maritime exercise. So like that, you can add some value to your answers based on the current affairs, guys. You should not miss that. So if you are missing that, you will be losing marks in your mains. So always focus on value addition part. So because this value addition part will make you unique compared to that of others. Because everyone will be reading the same books, right? Same standard book, same newspaper, but how you are different? How you are using the articles that are there in the news in your answers, that makes you unique. So try to focus on that. So now let us see some facts regarding this India-Africa key maritime engagement. So Indian Navy will participate in Maiden Multilateral Maritime Exercise, and the name of this is AI-KIMI. So you may also get question regarding AI-KIMI is in news. What it is? It is maritime engagement between India and Africa. It is not related to something of AI. So in this way also you may getting confused, right? So don't be confused with this. AI is Africa, India, KEY, key maritime engagement. So it is co-hosted with Tanzania in April 2025 to enhance maritime security. What is the importance of this exercise? That is to improve maritime security and as well as improve cooperation with these African nations. So if you see some important facts here, so first important one here is what is it? So it is multilateral maritime exercise. And what is the aim? Aim is to improve naval cooperation and as well as interoperability between India and African nations. So which are the hosting countries? India on one side, next one is Tanzania. You have to remember this. And actually it is a first edition and it will be going to take place in this month, that is April 2025 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. So which are the countries participating here? It is also very important. So mostly African countries like Comoros, Djibouti, Eritrea, Kenya, Madagascar, Mauritius, Mozambique, Seychelles, South Africa, India and Tanzania. So these are the countries who are participating in this exercise. And what are the important aims? So they want to strengthen maritime security, as I said, and they want to improve coordination to tackle certain problems. What are the problems in this maritime sector? So we have piracy, we have illegal trafficking and unregulated fishing. And also for the proper sharing of information, we need proper surveillance. We need to enhance information sharing. So those are the things. And apart from that, if you are talking about the key features, so first one is they are focusing on harbor phase activities. So through that activities, they want to improve conditions to counter this piracy and they want to improve information sharing. And this one is they are also having certain training sessions in seamanship, visit, boat, search and seizure operation as well. And they are also focusing on sea phase operations, especially they are focusing on SAR, that is search and rescue drills, and small arms firing, helicopter operations, etc. And they're also focusing on Sagar and as well as Mahasagar initiatives as well. Okay, so those things which are very, very important, guys, don't forget. And now let us see the next article. So actually in our today's newspaper, in our editorial page, so I didn't found that nothing much relevant and important from UPSC point of view, skip that. Okay, and now let us see this topic which appeared in text and context in today's page. So if you see here, the title says, will Trump's tariffs bring in a recession? So what is the keyword? Keyword is recession, right? So actually what is happening between other countries and US? Tit for tat tariffs, right? So even yesterday's class we discussed that 125% of tariff on Chinese goods, and retaliation also China is also imposing that thing. And even US said that we are imposing 35% of tax earlier, 25% earlier, and also on iron and steel industries, automobile industry. So lots of areas which had been getting affected by this US tariffs. So now the article which said that, so because of this US and other countries tit for tat tariffs, will it causes any recession or not? Recession is nothing but decreasing of economic growth. So here if you see the gist of this article, what it says is, with its high per capita income and low tariffs, US has been the largest export market for goods from cars to computers. That led to the creation of manufacturing jobs in several countries. So normally what is the importance of the US is having good high per capita income country, and even there are very low tariffs. So because of this, what happened? So US has become one of the largest export market, and even it is creating lots of employment in other countries also. From now, imports from about 60 countries will have a significant higher level of tariffs. Okay, on 60 countries, there is an impact because of this US tariffs. And that countries are also imposing this reciprocal tariff, that is nothing but tit for tat tariff. Okay, so because of this, what happening? There will be decreasing of export, decreasing of trade. So because of this, there is a chance of decreasing of employment opportunities, and as well as decreasing of total production, and as well as decreasing of economic growth. That is the thing which mainly said here. And if you see which countries are getting affected, so we have India, China, Canada, Mexico, Vietnam, South Korea, Thailand, Germany, etc. So these countries are getting majorly affected. So these are some important things that happened now today's in the newspaper. So by this I'm concluding, guys, and thank you so much for watching. And if you really like this class, so please hit the like button, don't forget, and please do share this class to your friends, and do subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy. And if you want to join the foundation course, so please try to choose the correct and right institute where you are getting mentorship properly or not, and try to talk with the old students. Don't forget. Thank you, guys.